Hello YouTube. It's been a while since I have recorded a video, so I'm back and I'm going to record a video about my trip to the East Coast. So before I start, the idea behind this trip is part of a larger plan to visit every NHL stadium in the country and also during the trip see some minor league hockey arenas as well. So that's the plan. Obviously, I want to go with friends and family, most importantly, my brother Scott. So this is the first of the trips. Now, if we look at the schedule, which is here, and you can also see the craziness that we're planning, it's going to be quite the journey. So hang on. Now, before I start, I want to say a quick note to the non-family friends YouTube audience out there. You may not find this that interesting. You might. I'm going to share some stories of my trip, maybe some interesting lessons learned. However, you might not find it completely interesting, and I am not offended if you don't watch it at all. This one is mainly going to be towards family. Okay, now take a look at this map I threw up here. This has the places that we're going to visit, that we're going to be at, and you can see it's all up and down the east coast of the United States, from New Hampshire into Connecticut, down to New York and Long Island, and then upstate New York. So traveling quite a few states over a 7-day period, a combination of visiting family, friends, and seeing some hockey games in New York City, Long Island, and Hartford. And instead of going through day by day by day, I'm going to give you 10 stories that happened along the way. I hope you enjoy them. This first story is called Wrong House. I get to Boston via Austin, where we live now, and get my car, Ford Explorer, because in case it does snow, and they had predicted snow. However, the first hour of my trip up north to New Hampshire, no problem. Things were great. The weather was chilly, a little bit of rain, but nothing terrible. And then the last hour, things started to get bad. Snow started to fall. Drivers started to slow down. I started to see trucks with salt and scrapers going up and down the freeway. There were temporary signs put up that said winter storm, and it was taking longer and longer, and it was getting dark. So as I continued to drive, we continued to slow down, saw a couple of accidents mainly going the other direction, which caused me some concern, but I said take it slow. And as I approached my uncle and aunt's house, I talked with them about 15 minutes beforehand, and I said, okay, I'm almost there. And they said, great, when you pull in the driveway, we'll open the garage door and you can come in through the garage door. I said, great. I pulled down the street and I pulled into their driveway, parked the car, and noticed something. The garage door didn't go up and the lights didn't come on the outside. I was like, oh, well, it didn't really concern me. I got out, grabbed my bags, and headed towards the front door. Put my bags down, pushed the button, and at that moment, I noticed the number on the house. It said 10. And then I remember I was pretty sure in the GPS I put in 20, but that brought me here. And then I realized that I'm in the wrong house, at the wrong house. This was confirmed as I saw the lady through the door, approaching the door with a look on her face like, who is this person staring at the door? Now at this point I realized I had two choices. I could stand there, say hello, introduce myself, apologize for disturbing her, and move on with my life, or I could run. The 10-year-old in me wanted to run. She'll never know. I could be off the porch in a second, jump in my car, drive away, and she'll just never know. However, I decided to wait. So I stood there. She opened the door. I said hello, said my name. I apologize. I parked at the wrong house. Have a good evening. And she didn't really respond, but she looked and like, this is a strange person. It's okay. Have a nice night. And we said goodbye. Got to the right house, saw my aunt and uncle, had a great time, laughed about this, and later my aunt said she talked to the lady, and they had a good laugh over that. So that is the first day of my trip called Wrong House. This next story is called $10 a gallon for gas. I'm going to tell you the story. It's going to make total sense why it's $10 a gallon for gas. So I was ready to leave. I spent 2 nights with my aunt and uncle. I had a fabulous time. If you have an aunt, uncle, or any family member that you haven't called in a while, call them, visit them, tell them you love them, have a great time with them. It is so much fun. I'm headed down from Rochester, New Hampshire to Hartford, Connecticut. About close to 3 hours. Close enough. After you take a break or so, it's 3 hours. Driving along, having a really good drive. Beautiful outside, a couple of flurries here and there, not a problem. Plenty of time. I leave myself with plenty of time to get there. I'm returning my car at a rental shop near downtown Hartford. So not at an airport, but at a place near downtown Hartford where I'm going to watch the game. So I get there and I pull in, and this is not your airport return rental car scenario where you drive in and there's people, they walk around your car, you get your stuff. By the time you've got your stuff, they've handed you a receipt and off you go. This is a small shop with a gated car lot in the back and one person working the booth and a line of like 6 people. And it's cold. It's cold. The bathrooms don't work. It's not fun. So I'm standing there and people are grumpy. This is like waiting for the DMV. The lady's doing her best to help a customer, then get the car, then check the car, then come back and do the next customer. It's about 15 minutes per customer. So I'm realizing, doing the math, that I'm going to be there for an hour. Then something interesting happens. You could see that they didn't have any cars left. And they were stalling and delaying. And finally the lady asked the crowd, the people that are there, about 4 or 5 of us, is anyone here returning a car? I said, I am. And so she takes me right away. Oh, look, this is great. Return the car, and off I go. And so she types all the information in and all that, and she says, oh, did you fill the car up with gas? I said, I forgot to. No, I did not. And it was down about half a tank, which is, on that Explorer, is probably about 10 gallons. And she said, she looks at me, she says, it's $10 a gallon for gas. I said, yeah, I know. Oh, what am I going to do? I'm not going to go drive somewhere, put gas in it, and come back. And she looks at me, she looks at the rest of the line, she says, okay, I'm going to turn this car around right now, meaning give it to the next person. I'm going to waive your fee for gas, but the car is clean, right? I don't have to, and so I said, oh yeah, absolutely, the car is completely clean. I did not, it was just me, didn't make a mess, so, she was able to turn that car around, and I did not have to pay for filling the car up, nor did I have to pay $10 a gallon to have them fill it up. So that was a close one, worked out pretty good at the end, and got my Uber to the hotel where I was staying in Hartford, met up with my brother and his wife. Besides it being really cold, it was a lot of fun. So that is $10 a gallon for gas. This next one is called Chuck-a-Buck. Now, for family members that maybe haven't been to a hockey game or don't know much about it, you may not know what I'm talking about. For those that have been to a hockey game, and specifically probably a minor league hockey game, you probably know what I'm talking about. So this is an event where you come, and probably one of the few places where you're encouraged to throw things onto the playing field. Okay, what do I mean by that? Well, You buy rubber pucks. They look like hockey pucks. Sometimes they're orange, sometimes they're blue, or these were happen to be black. And you get a bag of 10, but maybe it's 10 for $10 or something like that, and you hold on to them. And in between one of the periods, one of the breaks in the game, when everyone's off the ice, they have an event called Chuck-a-Puck. So they put a target in the middle of the ice arena, and you stand in your seat, and you throw your pucks. And what they do is, the puck that lands closest to the bullseye, so it bounces, it rolls, it spins, it deflects, it hits other pucks. But if you're the closest, then you win a prize. And so we go there, and my brother and his wife bought 2 bags of pucks, like 20 pucks. And so the time came, and then so every puck has a number they write on it, and on the outside of this paper bag they write the numbers of all the pucks you have. So if your puck lands in the right spot and they want to find out, they announce the number, and you go down, you show them the bag that has a number on it, you win. Really fun. They do it for fundraising. They do it for charity, and it's really fun to watch all these pucks go on the ice. I probably don't have a video of it. Probably not. But it's pretty fun. So throw the pucks on the ice, and we're sitting there, and they announce the winner, and my brother's wife says, "I think I won." So her puck lands closest to the bullseye. She goes down and she wins 4 tickets to an upcoming game. So that was really, really fun. I don't think that's ever happened as many times as I've done the Chuck-a-Puck contest. So that was a really, really fun thing that happened at the game. Okay, this next story is serious. And it's serious because everyone can relate to this problem and this fear, and has a reaction that I'll describe that I had. So we see the game, so it's now Saturday night. We stay in the hotel, get up Sunday. We're taking a train from Hartford to Penn Station, New York City, right below Madison Square Garden, where we're going to see a game on Sunday. So we get to the train station nice and early. Now this is Hartford. There is one track. It's track number 1. And it goes one way, it goes the other way. It's one track. So you can't get lost. It's a small station. It's early in the morning. It's Sunday. It's cold. Nothing's open for get a coffee or anything. So we're just sitting there talking and making the best of it. Then they say, okay, make your way up to the train platform. Great. We use the restroom, get our stuff. We go up there. We're standing there, and then the train, can't remember the exact time. It was like going to be there 9:20, and they said, oh, it'll be 9:30, and it'll be 9:40. So it was about 10 or 15 minutes, and it was pretty cold. So we're just trying to stay warm. But train comes, we get on the train, get our seats. Train starts moving, and all of a sudden, I realize I don't have my phone. So just so you know, this phone is a similar, not exactly, but it's similar to this. This is a Duo. This is the Duo first generation. I had upgraded to the Duo second generation and brought that with me. That was my daily driver phone. Kind of unique phone, kind of special, kind of geeky, kind of cool, kind of expensive. So I'm sitting on the train's moving, I realize I don't have my phone. Do all my checks, bags, all this stuff. And my brother's looking at me. What's going on? So I sit there for a few more minutes, and I say to my brother, I've got a problem and an opportunity. And he looks at me kind of funny, and I said, I think I left my phone at the train station. And that, as you look around, you're the one without a phone. Not only do you feel like now someone could call, I could get a text, what am I going to do on the train ride for 2 hours? and you see everyone else on their phone, so now you're all of a sudden you're jealous because they have phones, they are connected to the world, and you don't have your phone. But part of me is also, I'm kind of a geek, I'm kind of a nerd, and I love upgrading to different phones and getting new phones. And this phone, so it's like, it's just a phone. I'm like, it's got a thumbprint, protection on it, bio fingerprint protection, and a password and a pin and all that. So no big deal. And so little time goes by, and my brother says to me, he goes, "Can you remote access it to wipe the information or protect it or something?" And I said, "Well, that's a great idea." So I said, "Well, give me your phone and I'll try to log on to my provider, and I can remotely wipe the phone or something like that." And I'm on there, and it requires two-step authentication, and it pings my wife or something. And they're on a phone. I'm like, I can't do this. I'll wait till I get somewhere. I'm not too worried about it. Then I thought, wait, I have a son. And my son has a degree in cybersecurity. He works in tech, and he would love to help me. So I call him up, and it's Sunday morning. He just got up. He's about ready to go to his grandma's house. And I said, I need help. He goes, "Okay, Dad, this is what I need from you. Give me your PIN and your password and this. And it's okay, but it's also two-step authentication." So he conferences in his mom. And within 5 minutes, he accesses the site. He says, "Okay, next time someone turns it on, it's going to automatically wipe," and I feel great. Now I relax, and everything's wonderful. I'm like, great. He calls me back in 10 minutes. He says, "Dad, what I decided to do? I decided to call your phone to activate, wake it up, and it would start the wipe process on the phone." I said, "Oh, that's brilliant." He goes, "And Dad, somebody picked up." I'm like, "What?" He goes, "Yeah, it was the security office at the train station. They have the phone. It's in their safety security area, locked away." I said, "Great." And they put my name on it, my phone number, all this stuff. So they have the phone. Fantastic. But I'm still left with an opportunity, and that is, I'm still not going to be going back to Harvard. So it's really difficult to make that a part of our trip at this point. So I was like, well, the opportunity here is to go to Best Buy and pick up a new phone, which was fun as well. So that's later in the stories. And that's it. Lost my phone. It's in Hartford. It's still there. It's in the train station. I may go get it, or I may just move on to other phones. Maybe even go back to my Duo first generation. We'll see. So that is a problem and an opportunity. This next story is really cool. This was before the game in New York City. We checked in our hotel, which was the New Yorker. You could see Madison Square Garden. So you pull the train in, you're under Madison Square Garden is where the train station comes in. So you're right there where the game is going to be. You walk out, we look up, and there's the New Yorker Hotel. We go there at noon. Check-in is until 4, but of course, they have a room for us. We're all set. They checked us in early. They were awesome. Beautiful room. They upgraded us to a suite, so we had an extra parlor room where we could hang out, and then we had 2 double beds. It was awesome. So we walk outside. My brother says, "Hey, let's go over here. I want to show you something." And we're walking a couple blocks, and it's cold. The wind's blowing and all that. And he says, "Hey." We get to this building. He looks up. He says, "Take a look at that." And it says NHL headquarters. And where Gary Bettman, who's the commissioner, maybe he works there. I'm sure he's not there on a Sunday. But I was like, "Oh, that's cool. I've never been to where that is." We look through the glass and all that. And he goes around the corner, and there is a beautiful, giant NHL store. Although you might see this with another backup camera that I did bring, so I'll put those up now. You can see shots of the store. So we were walking around the store, and we wanted to see maybe Gary Bettman's here. Of course, he wasn't there, but we had a really great time at the store. I bought this really cool hat, and thank you, Scott, for taking me there. It was truly, truly awesome. Next story is titled Seats on the bridge. So we go to our game, and we were sitting in the 200 level, 300 level seats up in the corner. Every seat in the garden's great to watch a game. And we're having a good time. And in between, my brother looks up, he says, there's this new bridge they built. So a bridge, it is almost to the top of the arena, right where broadcasters might be, where the press might be, and it looks down over the rink, and that's usually reserved. But they built one for fans, so it's a long bridge, and there's like bar seats, and you look straight down. Pretty interesting. So we just walked up there to walk around and see the view. It looked great. And we strike up a conversation with a couple people sitting at the bar where they had seats watching the game. So they say, hey, well, these people, no one showed up for these two seats, so feel free to sit there. So we decided to sit at the bar, watch the rest of the game, and it was really, really fun. You could get up, walk around. They had their own concession stands up there. And the weirdest part is you're watching the game and you look behind you and there's rows of seats that go up behind you, picture here, of people also watching the game. So it's a very cool venue. That is Seats on the Bridge. Okay, next one is a quick one. We did the Monday morning when we took the train from New York City up to Poughkeepsie, New York. Got picked up by my brother's wife, brought to the house. The first thing we did was jump in the car and go to Best Buy so I could get myself a phone and get back connected to the world. And of course, behind the scenes, I had sent mail with another device that I had to family and friends, and then they spread the word that, hey, Jeff doesn't have a phone, so don't freak out if he doesn't respond to you. So I went in and picked up a Pixel 6a on sale, $300. I think it was a decent phone. I like it a lot, and it's got a story. It's called How Many Pilots Does It Take? Well, I'm a big flight simulator fan, so is my brother. And Dave, my best friend, he works at an airport managing planes, and we all got together and geeked out and played Flight Simulator in the afternoon. We decided to settle in and do some long-range flights that were technical, going to a certain altitude, a certain speed, and all these things, and we worked together to kind of map it all out. Total fun. Then we did these landing challenges. If you use Flight Simulator, they have these landing challenges where they set you up in a plane, it's moving, and they show you land like this, do this, do this. Let's just say our landing percentage on some of those were less than 50%, but way outpaced by the number of giggles and laughs that we had trying to help each other, support each other, and outdo each other. So we had a fun afternoon playing Flight Simulator, and I assume there's some pictures that are going across the screen as I'm talking so you can see the things we were doing. This next one's called Can I Have Cheese With That? And this was at a restaurant in Rhinebeck, New York, with my brother, his wife, my sister, her husband, and daughter. And we met, they came down from Albany, we came up from Poughkeepsie, and we met for dinner. And when the dinner was done, we ordered dessert, we started ordering pies, and the question became to the server, could we get cheese? They'd asked us if we want ice cream. We said, no, could we have some cheese? And the server was pretty confused. I don't think they get a lot of orders for cheese with their pie. And I had not thought about this in years, but it was so hysterical. We had to describe where the cheese doesn't go on the pie, goes to the side, that it's a small block of cheese, and it's usually a cheddar or a Swiss or something like that, and that it complements the pie. But I haven't seen that certainly on the West Coast, but it's something I remember from my childhood, and so we all had a big giggle about clarifying the cheese with pie. Story number 10 is So It's Free. That's the name of the story. So we got tickets to the Islander game, the last game that we're going to watch. It's on a Wednesday night. We go down to the city, and this new arena, brand new last year, called the UBS Arena. I think UBS Arena, and it's near the Belmont track, the racetrack. So you park your car, you pay a lot of money to park your car, but then they put you on a bus and they bus you around this horse track to get to the rink. So no big, we go there. Now these tickets were for what's called the club seating, which is closer to the ice. And before we went, I happened to look and I saw a posting that said that some food was included for free. It's like, okay. So we go in there, and we had talked about whether we were going to eat first, and we got to the arena, should we grab something to eat before we go? I said, no, let's go find our seats, let's go there, and then we'll go figure out. We walk into this club section, and it's as big as small drugstore maybe. And it's got these booths and these counters, and all this food is set out, and people are wandering around taking the food, and you don't see them collecting any money. And so my brother gets some food and asks one of the servers, like, do we have to pay for this somewhere? And she says, no, it's all free. So we were in heaven. So we spent, because we don't think we had lunch, I think we waited, so we were hungry. And they had carving stations, and they had pizza, and they had salads, and they had lots of really great selection. Enjoy the food, got to go to the game, and my brother said, I don't see popcorn. I'm sure they must charge for popcorn. I said that I don't think they charge for popcorn. And they didn't. There's some popcorn you could go get. So we had a blast there at the rink, watching the game, eating food. They brought out dessert in the third period, and it was just wonderful. And we really enjoyed. So we ate too much, and we probably got sick. No, we didn't get sick, but we ate way too much. Congratulations. If you've made it this far, then you're either really bored, or you're a family member that just has to watch the whole thing, because I might quiz you on it. Or maybe you left it on by mistake and you just came back and I'm still talking. But regardless, you made it to the end. Thank you for listening. I got home, checked another 3 arenas off my list to visit, and had a wonderful time visiting family, visiting friends, traveling up and down the East Coast. And these are just some of the stories that I wanted to share, and I really appreciate the opportunity to share them. Thank you, and have a great